Say a line.
I wear speed stick.
Dude, that's perfect.
Hello, everybody.
4, 3, 2, kick it.
Hey guys, James here once again with the third of many episodes of Miami Let's Cast. This time I have a special guest. Eric is in the house. What's going on, Eric?
What's going on, man? How's everything going?
It's going phenomenal, man. Just need your professional insights.
Alrighty.
As a professional gamer.
I'll do my best.
All right. On this week's show, we're gonna talk a little bit about some interesting news we heard about Destiny 2. We're going to get into one of the games that we're most stoked about. That's Assassin's Creed Origins. And then we're going to dig a little bit into each of the console makers, Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. They've been in the news recently. So just to kind of get started here, Eric, what you been playing, brother?
Well, sir, I just recently came into my PSN store and I came across two gems that I thought was perfect for $20. It's right now going on in the sale. The first of which is Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Phenomenal game. I thought it was a great that they came back with the whole free running concept, EA and DICE. I'm really like nostalgic because the first game was phenomenal, and I think this is just like a step above. The second of which was Need for Speed. Now this is like the latest iteration before this next one, Need for Speed Payback. But I thought
that game looks dope.
Yeah, it is. It kind of went back to the original roots of, oh hey, let's explore the city, go into races, and it also brought back that cop element that we love so much, so that we get that thrill off of. But
for real, I gotta get away.
Yeah, man. And what was surprising too was that Sony's having a special. These two were probably like what, $22. One was like $9 and the other one was like $12. So really a great buy.
Really, that cheap?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about. I missed the second Mirror's Edge. The first one was a blast to play with. Is the second one as good as the first?
Well, it definitely has that free running concept. Like it stays true to that completely. What they do a little bit different is that they add on a little bit more things. Like they give you more skills to master. They give you like a whole XP system. It's really like a more sandboxy environment than the last time, because although Mirror's Edge, the one before, was like a blast to go through, it was kind of like, it was linear in a sense that you were following like a single path.
Right.
So in this version, they kind of sort of opened it up, and so you can do a whole lot more things now than you did back then. Like you can go into delivery missions, you can do runner trials, you can do like just side missions and stuff. They've introduced like some things into this one that they haven't done before, which I thought was good.
Okay.
And I really liked it. It was a nice change of pace, but still keeping true to the old style.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. That's cool. And then the other one, what was the name of the other one?
Need for Speed.
Need for Speed.
Just Need for Speed. Not to be confused with Most Wanted and Carbon and
Hot Pursuit or one of those.
Yeah. So it was just
Gotcha.
It was just like that, back to the original style of what races are going on tonight, let me participate in this. They brought in some really nice cars. Like what I'm driving right now is a Subaru BRZ Premium that was released in 2014.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, and that thing's like a drift monster. Initially, when I started, I was terrible at drifting, and I found out why. Because you have to have it tuned a certain way, you have to have all the parts. But after a while, after all of that, a little bit of grinding, you'll start to see, the progression develop. You'll start to see your skills develop.
Nice.
And so it's not it's not so hardcore. It'll take it easy on you. You take your time.
It's a good warm up.
Yep.
Anything else you've been playing there? Or you just exclusively those couple games?
Well, I've been playing these games right now. I'm looking for something else to go into, but hopefully, I'll find something pretty good.
Nice. Well, I've been playing almost exclusively on the Nintendo Switch for the past few weeks. It's a hell of a machine. I actually had a ball. I picked up arms.
Oh, nice.
I already had 2 arms, but I felt I needed at least a couple more.
Okay.
And and it's basically, I wouldn't call it like their next Punch Out or anything like that, but it's a nice kind of change of pace as far as fighting games are concerned.
Okay.
So the cool thing about this game is you can play it a bunch of different ways. You can either go with the motion controls, which is really dope. I put the Switch into the dock, and I was playing it that way, and it just, that's my preferred way of playing. But obviously this thing is on the go, so whenever I'm taking it with me, I'll just play it in portable mode, and it's just as fun. Obviously, you don't lose as many calories that way, but you still can enjoy the game. So I've been playing ARMS. ARMS is definitely, it's beautiful to look at, man. Nintendo just knows how to make great games. All the menus, the design work is phenomenal. I'm looking to see how this game grows, and it has a ton of cool like little modes. You can play volleyball with friends, and with the arms you can hit them back and forth. There's a basketball one. There's it's like a 2-on-2, so there's different modes apart from the story mode, of course. So it's really enjoyable. So I've been playing that. I also finally finished playing Zelda. I beat Ganon.
Very nice.
Man, that game is I didn't want to finish the game just because I was enjoying it so much, and that's why I kind of put off fighting Ganon. But I said, you know what, I'm pretty beefed up now, let me do that. I'm not gonna ruin anything for those who haven't finished it, but it's definitely a great game through and through. And now I'm kind of just grinding out in the post. I also picked up another little game called Cave Story Plus. Cave Story Plus is from the same maker of Binding of Isaac.
Oh, okay.
Nicholas is the same guy. The game is pretty cool. It's basically a side-scrolling platformer with almost a little bit of Dark Soulsy effect, and as far as the difficulty.
Okay.
So it's really enjoyable. You're basically a little dude running around. You pick up different types of weapons, and those weapons level up or down depending on if you get hit. That's something nice that I like about the game. They can go either way. Then you go into like almost different areas or different zones, and you go on these little missions for the villagers that are in need of your assistance. So it's a dope game. Definitely recommend it. And I always get my fix at least a couple times a week of this Gaia 5 Complete Edition on Switch. So like I said, it's been almost exclusively Nintendo Switch, except for a little bit of Stardew Valley that I played on PS4, and a little bit of Street Fighter 5 because I got the tournament. I'm kind of gearing up for it. We got the tournament on July 30th. By the way, I'm going to have the link down in the description for those who want to sign up and are in the Miami area for that tournament. So keep a lookout for that.
Alrighty, man. I can't wait to see you there. Speaking of which, man, who you been practicing with, bruh?
By myself, the computer. Maybe
No.
we should link up for sure.
Alrighty, dude.
Because I am so freaking rusty, man. It's not even funny.
Oh, dude.
It's not even funny.
The character mechanics must be completely different from what you're used to.
Yeah, for sure. Especially me, that I'm more of the Mortal Kombat player. I like to play more of that style.
Yeah. I get you.
But it's definitely different. It takes some getting accustomed to.
Yeah, man.
So I've been in that practice room.
Okay. Yeah, dude. I'm actually trying to put in some time myself with the new season.
Nice.
I've heard that Urian is like a pretty bad, like a pretty good, character to play right now since it's like the top tier.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to see what I can do. Like, pick like an average tier character and don't go too high, don't go too low. I was saddened to learn that my favorite character, my waifu, Juri, got nerfed. But I'm sucking in those manly tears, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
man.
it's some pretty cool players in that game. It's so different than what they've done in the past, and I know that people have been clamoring about they're complaining, but they've done a lot of fixes. They've been since the launch, that game has transformed completely, and I think for the better for the most part.
Right,
so let's get it right into a little bit of what we've been hearing in the news. It turns out that Destiny announced something. What's going on with Destiny, Eric?
Alrighty, so Destiny 2. Well, we already know what's going on with Destiny 2 as far as the console versions, but on the PC versions, we just recently learned that it'll skip Steam and instead use Blizzard's Battle.net service instead.
Nice.
So what this means for PC players is, there's going to be a more dedicated servers. There's going to be faster which means faster uploads and downloads.
Okay.
There's going to be no lag. The only bad side there being is that you're going to have to wait a little bit. But if Blizzard has, if we're going back to Blizzard's behaviors, when they usually make us wait, it's usually, it's well worth the wait.
For sure. I agree. Case in point, Overwatch. So what does this mean exactly? So they're not going to use Steam service. That's a step up. That means it's not going to be, congested. I would imagine. Not. It's dedicated servers. It's going to mean, it's just their game. So I imagine it's a lot more consistent. They have more control. The servers could go on for longer periods, I would imagine. So, for those who are looking to play Destiny, I think this is fantastic news.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Especially, Destiny is Bungie, but it's because of Activision, I would imagine, right? Because of the deal they got there.
Well, yeah, Activision is a pretty good company considering that they're the publisher, so they can definitely just spread it out as far as where consoles are concerned.
Right.
But definitely, I think this was a good move for Bungie, especially, to make that move with Blizzard because of their online service and how dedicated it is and how it's literally whenever Blizzard does something, it's definitely to make it so that the foundation is completely solid. Right. So that partnership that they're doing is definitely going to be like a powerhouse as far as sales are concerned.
I agree. I'm glad that they're doing that. Destiny has a lot to live up to, especially with their shortcomings of the vanilla Destiny. They've been very good about adding content to the game, and now with Destiny 2, it looks like they're addressing a lot of the concerns that the fans have had. And obviously now with dedicated servers on the Activision Blizzard side, Battle.net, I think that's going to be another reason to play Destiny 2. So they're doing good things. They're doing good things. I'm happy to hear that.
They're really good things, man. What I think was the original plan was, I think Destiny, the original one, was like a stepping stone to see how well it was gonna be received. And we had people that loved it. We had people that hated it. We had people that were on the fence, but we still had people that played it. And regardless of where you were position wise, you still, for whatever amount of time, you still played it. Bungie is very notorious for listening to their community. So if there's something that you want done, if there's a lot of people that are having that same issue, Bungie is very good about addressing that, like quick and to the point.
Yeah, that's something about Bungie that they've always done well. They definitely click well with the community. So for sure, I'm definitely stoked to do that. I didn't really play the first one, but this has got my interest peaked.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, well, speaking of listening to the fans, it seems like the people over at Ubisoft making Assassin's Creed have been making some improvements to the game. They took a year off to kind of take a step back and get away from the same old things that they've been doing. Now we've seen on E3 the stage. I know I've seen a couple demos. I've been on YouTube and seen a couple videos of the gameplay, and it looks the same but different. We were looking at an article here, and it's talking a little bit about they want to implement some more RPG elements into the game, so that's definitely welcome. And I know you're stoked for the game. What is it about Assassin's Creed that's got you lit up?
Oh man, what isn't about Assassin's Creed that has me lit up. The core of it, yeah, is oh my god, dude. What can I say about this game that isn't like that hasn't already been said? Well, what piqued my interest about Assassin's Creed in general was, yeah, you're an assassin first off, and then you're going into like these places and these really like critically like conducive times, like where history is like kind of sort of famous for, like, so you would have like the Crusades, you had Italy, you had what else, you had the Caribbean, where these pivotal points in history take place. Not the American Revolution.
The American Revolution was another one, right?
Yeah, the American Revolution was another one. So I think I like it most because of that, and because you play such a very important role in. You feel like you play such an important role in history, I should say. So yeah, you're doing all these things where you're just jumping off of trees. You're going, you're swinging with ropes. You're going into like these buildings to kill like all these people.
So what do you think about the whole Egypt thing they're going with now? You mentioned that they've done almost everything, and that now it's kind of going back to the very, very beginning.
Yeah, I think that was a very good move as far as Assassin's Creed, like the whole universe is concerned, because we never actually explored how the whole Brotherhood got started. And
right.
I think now with the consoles being as powerful as they are, it's a very good opportunity to explore that.
And Egypt is untapped almost. I'm trying to think like other games that have really done Egypt very well. If you can bring the Mummy movies to the gaming world, I mean, that's enough for me. It doesn't need to, as long as you have that. Put the Scorpion King in that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bring it. I'll rock and roll with that. So what is it that they obviously took a year off.
Yeah.
They wanted to make some changes. They wanted to revamp, which speaks to the fact. I mean, I've never been more excited for an Assassin's Creed. You sound you're very excited as well for it. I know that a lot of fans have been clamoring for this game. So it goes to show that taking a year off and not making this thing every single year and making it tired is actually a good thing sometimes, rather than just even if you have to wait an extra year for it. I think it's a good thing. So what is it that, now that you know that they took a year off, what do you think, or better said, what is it that you want to see in this new one?
What I want to see is, well, definitely what I want to see different is definitely the combat. I want to see like the different skills you got. I want to see different armor. I want to see something that is physically, tied to that time. Cool. All the limitations, all the, the technology of that time. You feel me? Like I want to feel like I live in that time and am bound by, the technology, of that time.
Right.
But,
speaking of technology, I don't think they're gonna bring it to the future, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, it's just gonna be exclusively in Egypt. They're not gonna be going back and forth through time, which I think is welcomed.
No, well, I mean, I definitely like the story that they have going in the background, which is like the main story so far.
Yeah, with Desmond.
With Desmond and the crew. Mm-hmm. I was very saddened to see him die and to see Lucy die. But to see Sean and well, I mean, it's long since passed, so it's whatever.
Yeah, right. The statutes of limitation.
Yep, the statutes of limitation. I'm actually glad Sean and Rebecca are actually keeping things up, even though they themselves aren't assassins. They jump like assassins.
Right.
But no, I think it's very good to have that like backstory, going on, even though you physically can't do anything in it as much anymore. You're just like a backseat driver, and I think it was a very good answer. I think it was like very well thought out, very meticulous, as far as that's concerned. But getting back to the story themselves for Assassin's Creed Origins, I want to see like a really great story. I want to feel like I can. Whenever there's like a brand new Netflix series, like I wanna be able to feel like I can binge watch it. You feel me? Like,
Right.
like the other Assassin's Creed games have always done this beautifully. So I've always managed to like put in upwards of 12 hours like on one game and still like haven't even gotten to like the halfway point.
Nice.
So that's what I feel like it's good about. Like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed is, where it does very well.
I'm definitely stoked for that. So that's set to come out October 27th of this year. So very soon. We don't gotta wait much longer for that one.
I'm so excited.
But you know what? You know what system Assassin's Creed is not coming to?
Where?
The Nintendo Switch.
Oh wow. I'm sorry.
But you know what? I don't think they need it. You know why? I was reading this article right now. Actually, we saw this earlier. It turns out that they're killing, well, not killing, but they're edging Sony in the Tokyo Stock Exchange. With all the good things Sony are doing and the amount of sales that they're making, Nintendo still has the edge. So it turns out their market cap is $49 billion versus Sony's $48.5 billion. So that was for June of this year. So that was reported. So what makes this interesting is that Nintendo's exclusively a video game business.
Yeah.
Whereas Sony has different markets. They are in TVs and Blu-ray players and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes it even more phenomenal for me, the fact that Nintendo is doing so well. So it turns out that they're doing well, and we just found out that ARMS in Japan has sold 100,000 in its first week, which is pretty impressive considering games like Tekken 7 that just came out, they sold around 60,000. So ARMS is beating the lifetime sales of what's another one here? Street Fighter 5 has sold a total, I think, 76,000 in Tokyo. Okay. So just to put it in perspective, 76,000 lifetime sales, and that's been out for a while. Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
Tekken 7, 58,000, and that's been getting some pretty good reviews. Here's ARMS at 100,000. So I can see why they're doing so well on the stock exchange. What do you think?
Talking about Japan's Nikkei index, I think Nintendo with coming out with ARMS, like what Nintendo's been like really good at, apart from Sony doing all these other things, is really like focusing on the games and the functionality therein. So when they come out with new technology, they come out like with like that amazing thing that the Switch does, where you have to guess how many ice cubes are like in the little box in your hand. I thought that was kind of smart.
Okay.
But really, if you think about it, Nintendo has always made like games where you sort of like think about like a party scene, where it's not just you, it's your friends, it's like your family when you want to chill out and do something fun and cohesive, and you just you sort of like it makes that environment like really really easy to make.
Right, and the fact that this thing's portable, and like you said it, nobody else is doing 4-player co-op games. Nobody else is doing 4-player, on the same screen, and making it so that people could come together. It feels like almost the other manufacturers in Sony and Microsoft are doing the opposite. They're making you buy multiple systems, single-player experiences, or not single-player experiences, multiplayer experiences, but only a single person per console. So here's Nintendo. I read it recently as well. They think that they can get Wii numbers through the Switch. I don't know if that's an overreaction, but Wii sold, I think it was like 136 million lifetime. Or no, I'm sorry, that's overshooting it. It was 102, 103 million over the lifetime.
Okay.
So the fact that they think they can get there, they made a valid point. So I was reading that article, and it says that they feel like because the way that the console is made is portable, there's going to be more than one per household. So, if I and my wife want to play together, we can do it on the system. But for people who have 2 or 3 kids, maybe I'm the father, I want a system, and each one of them wants their own. So now there's 4, 2, 3, 4 in one household. So I can see that number getting there for sure, especially if they start phasing out the 3DS. So, awesome numbers there. Nintendo also addressed the issue, or made a statement in regards to the shortage of the Nintendo Switch. So imagine how much better they'd be doing if they've actually had these things in stock to sell. So they said that it's not intentional, that they're actually trying to produce it as fast as possible for the consumers, but they're just not making them fast enough. As soon as these things hit the shelves, they're gone.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely
insane. It's insane.
I can understand that. Definitely, whenever you talk about business, you always have to consider like what kind of product you want to push on your customers, if they'll like it, and if they'll like it, how much you're gonna make. So it's never something clear cut. Like, you're never gonna find out the exact value of how many people want it.
Okay. So
I mean, you have to put that into perspective of, okay, so we're just gonna like take all these darts and throw them at the dartboard, and it's not like a circular dartboard, it's like a vertical one where we just have to throw it up as far as we can go, and hopefully we pump out as many Nintendo Switches as we possibly can within the set time frame that we said we were going to deliver them by.
Right.
Because remember, during the first day there were no Nintendo Switches anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend
from the beginning it's been like this.
My friend that works at GameStop, he's been telling me that we're never gonna fill demand, but they've been having like pre-orders all across the Northeast, and dude, I thought like because of that the Nintendo Switch was gonna be like really popular, and it has. So what I think was they kind of, I mean, for the amount of product that they were pumping out, I thought it was massive in and of itself, but I guess even that wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I think that the reason they launched in March was almost because they knew that they were not going to have enough. So they wanted to get the hardcore gamers out there. But it's been hitting harder, I think, than they thought it would. I mean, admittedly, they had initially set 8 million units to be out into the wild. They doubled that to 16. And recently they increased that to 18 or 19, if I'm not mistaken, in production. As far as how much they think they're going to sell by their end of their fiscal year or Q1 next year, I forget. But I mean, that's significant. I mean, if they get past, Wii U sales lifetime, I think was around 13 or 14 million. So that means they're on pace to within 1 year outsell the Wii U. Okay. That's just insane, considering what the Wii U sales were, and I just been blown away. So I feel like they started out in March, in order to hit the hardcore gamers and kind of do like a really hard launch in October, and they've been just overwhelmed with the amount of sales that they're getting. So good for them. It's good that the industry is trending upward.
Yeah.
So definitely kudos to Nintendo, kudos to the good sales of ARMS, and kudos to their success. Which brings me to the next thing. As Sony actually came out recently here, and they talked a little bit about a game that I'm super stoked about. It's my game of E3 personally, and that's the Spider-Man exclusive that they have coming out. So they said that they expect Spider-Man to bridge the gap with gamers and non-gamers, bring in more people, and they're hanging around 60 million units now, a little bit over 60 million. They expect that Spider-Man could get them over 100 million units sold. So what do you think? Do you think they'll hit that mark? Do you think Spider-Man is that game that can bridge that gap, get the non-gamers and casual gamers on board?
Honestly, I mean, I hate to say this because I'm, not a hardcore Sony fanboy, but, I'm pretty up there. I definitely, I have to say, like, no, and here's why. Even though, like, I looked at the footage from E3, and I thought it was phenomenal.
I agree.
Spider-Man is like, as the games came out, yeah, they were pretty good for the time, but it feels like the Spider-Man, it feels like Spider-Man doesn't stay consistent, and more so, Spider-Man as an IP I think really
Okay.
belongs in movies. You know, to be honest, like I thought,
Really?
because there was a point in my life where I thought movie video games, like, because they did them. Oh my god, they did them in such perpetuity. I thought it was ridiculous when they came out
Right.
with Spider-Man. You know how they stretched out that Tobey Maguire movie for like 3 games. They did Fantastic Four, which I thought was ridiculous.
Right.
They did oh my god, Ghost Rider, the Hulk.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they definitely missed the mark there.
No, and I know what they were trying to do, but I feel like those intellectual properties are probably better off as movies because they weren't really all that thought out. They were just like, what was it? Just like platformers.
They just kind of slapped it together to kind of get something out. I think part of the issue though with the movies, to kind of get off topic a little bit, particularly Fantastic Four, I know that property is owned by Fox. So if they don't put out a Fantastic Four property within a certain time limit, they lose the rights to make those movies. They lose the licensing deal, and it goes back to Marvel. So I think part of the reason that those movies got rushed out is so that they won't lose that.
Well, I think that was gonna happen anyway. The last Fantastic Four movie was such a flop that, you know, there was like a little hidden joke among the community that, you know, a movie's bad when Stan Lee isn't in it to make a cameo.
He's
So,
like, nah, man, I ain't touching that.
So yeah, when I saw it, it was. I'm sorry to say the actors are good. The whole plot was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't. How do I put this eloquently? It wasn't like, it didn't give me that comic book feel. It was like, it was too serious. It was too Batman, like the Dark Knight serious, and frankly,
sure.
I didn't like that too much.
But you know what gives me the comic book feel? The Spider-Man game. Just to kind of bring it back a little bit. I saw the demo. The demo was maybe, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 minutes long. It looks phenomenal. This is the first time that there's been a Spider-Man game that has not been done by. I mean, Activision just kind of felt like they were spitting them out just for the sake of spitting them out and making money on the license. But I think for the first time. And obviously, I haven't played the game yet, but just based on what I've seen, you know, they got Insomniac on board. These people made Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive was, if they implement those mechanics into Spider-Man, that alone is going to make the game loads better. And the fact that Sony made this statement that they feel like they can bridge this gap feels like they're putting the marketing dollars and they understand the importance of this property. So I feel like that is also a game changer. You know, the gameplay, to me, the comic book hero is Spider-Man. It was my favorite growing up. I think it is, out of all the Marvel universe, at least in my opinion, I feel like he is the face of Marvel. You know, that's debatable. You can say Captain America and some others, of course, but to me, the most recognizable is Spider-Man for sure. And if you slap him on there and put him on a PS4 box and say, hey, only available on PS4 and you get to play as Spider-Man, I think that's definitely going to move some units. I don't know if it's going to move 100 million units or I should say 40 million, because that's the gap that they need to get there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to move some units for sure. Have you seen, did you get to see the stage demo or the gameplay demo?
Yeah, I definitely got to see it, my bad.
No worries.
I saw like the whole mechanics of it, and I thought it was pretty slick, you know, pretty smooth. You know, the whole combat, you know, the press circle to react to, you know, enemies like attack. I thought it was pretty good. The platforming I thought was pretty good too. It definitely stays true to his powers as a Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, but what I hope to see is like a really good story and really good action sequences that make me like really feel like, hey, I'm Spider-Man.
Right. Well, this particular demo, I mean, I read an article afterwards. Insomniac basically said that they wanted to keep that particular demo tight, so that's why you see a lot of these QuickTime events, and it looks very linear. But they confirmed that it is an open world, and you're gonna be able to go out there and do what you want. But I think for the purposes of the demo, it made sense to keep it tight and to pick a particular scene, like these, the boss battles, because you want to go open, but then you want to kind of bring it back down so that experience could be nice and tight, like a tiger.
Yeah, definitely.
I was gonna go somewhere else, but I said tiger. So yeah, so nice and tight.
Definitely, I want to see, like, as far as the story's concerned, I wanna see like an original kind of story, like then kind of like hasn't been touched on really. Right. But I want to see, like, I want to actually feel like it's actually cemented somewhere in the Marvel universe.
Well, they said that this is not gonna be the young Spider-Man like the movies, the Homecoming movie that's coming. Okay. It's gonna be he's a college graduate at this point. He's 20 something. He's got a job, so it's very different than any Spider-Man we've seen. At least in the movies, it's not to play. This guy's a grown up and he takes his job seriously. At this point, he's been Spider-Man, I think, for 8 years is what they said. So, he's not learning his powers at this point. He's pretty vested. He understands his powers, and he's just going out there and being a superhero. Okay. So I'm definitely stoked for that. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely I'm willing to give it a try. Hopefully Sony blows my mind. Like, hopefully they make me eat my words and say, hey, we sold 100 million units. Because Sony is like, I'm a Sony fanboy, so I really hope they do well.
For sure. But you know what? Competition is good, and this, you might not like this next topic, but as a Sony fanboy, but let's talk a little bit about what Xbox is doing. So apparently they've signed a couple, Phil Spencer and one of the other reps, I forget his name. They came out and they said basically that they've signed some big deals, but they're not ready to announce it. Okay. So basically, we know that this year we have Crackdown 3. Sea of Thieves, I think, is 2018, but we have Crackdown 3 this year. Really, that's really the only big AAA title. We didn't see Halo, we didn't see Gears of War, we didn't see anything else other than, and of course Forza. Can't forget Forza 7 looks phenomenal. So these are the ones that are leading it. So we got Gigantic, Cuphead, Forza 7, Crackdown 3, Super Lucky's Tale. That's all in 2017 exclusives, and then everything else is 2014 and beyond. Now they do have some console exclusives. We don't know how long that exclusivity is gonna last. I would imagine a year or so. Okay. And they got a handful of those. They got maybe another 10 titles or so which have console exclusivity. So they got some good stuff in the works. What really intrigues my interest here is what they said here, and I'll read off to you here. What was the article here? So I can tell you that there are a lot of other projects happening for Xbox with a lot of big titles that we're not talking about today. So what do you think? What do you think these titles could be? Is there anything that we know of? Do you think they're attacking, or they're trying to go after third-party titles, such as what they did with Tomb Raider? Is this going to be original content for them? What is it? What can we expect from Xbox going forward?
Well, Xbox One going forward, there's really not too much to talk about as far as Xbox One moving forward, because they had a trip, I should say, in the E3, like in the last E3 before this one. Right.
Well, no, it was the one before that, because last year was the one when they announced the Project Scorpio. I keep calling it Scorpio. Project Scorpio that came out. Now we know it's the Xbox One X. Okay. But yeah, the year before last was a complete mess. The year before that, it looks like they've been getting better and better and addressing it. I just don't know if they're so far behind at this point that I don't know what they can do to kind of catch up.
Like, honestly, yeah, I think so. I think they're so really, really, really far behind.
Yeah, they're in a bad place right now. So, but with that said, I am stoked for the power of the Xbox One X. I don't know if I'm gonna go out and get one. I don't see that there's any real reason to. I mean, Crackdown 3, Crackdown 1 and 2 were some of my favorite. Well, 2 not so much, but the original Crackdown was one of my favorite games. Halo continues to be my favorite first-person shooter. Gears continues to be my favorite third-person shooter. Forza 7 continues to be my favorite racer, and that's all happening on the Xbox. So I'm just looking for a reason to kind of jump back on board with them. Really, and I don't know if there's enough there to go out there and spend $500 because if I do jump on Xbox, it's not going to be the S. It's going to be the Xbox One S.
Okay.
X, I should say. So there's definitely some interesting points there. What's going to go forward? I don't know. Maybe Halo for next year. That would be nice. Halo 6. Forza 7 is coming out this year. Gears came out the previous year, so I don't think Gears is going to be out for a while. So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to rattle my brain. What do they have really? They don't really have, the titles that Nintendo. Everybody knows Nintendo, Mario. They have some crazy exclusives. With Sony, they have some crazy exclusives. God of War, Uncharted, Knack. Even Knack. Knack is it can be like their mascot. What does Xbox have? Halo for sure, Master Chief. Gears of War, Forza, Crackdown 3. What else? I don't know. It looks. Although that Sea of Thieves does look pretty cool. I'm willing to play that. I want to see more about it because I don't really know. If I can get, it's 4 or 5 friends that have Xbox One, to play this thing together. Also, State of Decay 2, which is a zombie game. I'm not really too much into zombies. But you know what? They did mention that they have an artist for a title called XXX Next Gen title. That's like their working title. Okay. And they said it's similar to the style of Horizon Zero Dawn. So maybe there's something there. I think they're trying to address what they know they need to address, and they need to get some single player experiences. They need to get some exclusive games. They need to put Rare to the front lines here. So I don't think they're dead in the water. But I think they definitely got a lot of work to do to kind of get in our minds again, to get that mind share back from Sony and even Nintendo at this point.
Okay. Well, you definitely bring up a good point. Really, besides Halo and Gears of War, definitely Sunset Overdrive, I would say. Crackdown 3 is going to be a good one. And I'm not just saying that because of Terry Crews.
Yeah, and I was about to mention that. I'm like, dude, dude, they did a good job there, man. Because they got me. They got me on board with that for sure.
Oh my God.
Terry Crews might make me spend $500.
Oh man.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Oh, dude, I will. Don't get me started. I love Terry Crews as an actor, anyway, by the way. But oh my God, I really can't. I guess that's like their biggest heel, that they don't have as much, and now that they're cutting back on their 2 biggest ones, what exactly are they gonna pump out that's really gonna make traction?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I think begs to be answered for sure.
Yeah, all the technology in the world, isn't gonna make like
a difference
great
without
sales.
the software, right?
No, not only just the software, but like a great game in general, because there's like this like unspoken rule about games, and I saw this like in the Halo documentary. Remember when Halo Combat Evolved came out?
Yeah, I remember that.
I think one of the producers or one of the executives there, like really made a great point about how you have to nail a game within the first 30 seconds, and if you don't nail it, it's not going to be a great game. So that's why I think IPs like Halo did very well. IPs like Gears of War did very well. Because they were willing to delve in, with the technology at the time, mind you. But they were willing to go in and put in the work and find out what works.
Right, I agree with you. So I guess we just have to wait and see. We wait and see. It's definitely going to be an exciting 2017. We got a lot of titles from the 3 console makers. We have some great things that we mentioned earlier, like Destiny 2 and Assassin's Creed coming this year. So it's definitely a lot coming, a lot to be excited for. It's a good time to be a gamer. With that said, Eric, where can people follow you if they want to reach out to you?
Well, right now I have a YouTube channel called, it's Breaker Boy 2336. So if you guys want to follow me there, I'm actually uploading gameplay of a video. A video of gameplay footage that I have for this game that I'm playing. that I didn't mention before. I'm sorry. Bulletstorm.
worries.
So that was like a great title growing up. Like I had bought it on the 360, and when this came out, like I fell back in love. So hopefully, you'll see those soon, and
Cool.
and I guess I have.
Do you got Instagram, Twitter, any of that?
Twitter, no. Instagram, yes, but that's my personal one, so I'm gonna have to make a new one.
Okay, we'll update that when we have that.
Alright,
For me, you guys can follow me at Miami Let's Play on all social medias. You can also go to miamiletsplay.com. I've created some forums, so you guys can start building a community there. You guys can reach us or reach me at miamiletsplay@gmail.com if you guys have any questions or comments, maybe some corrections that we missed, something you guys want us to talk about. Typically on my channel on YouTube at Miami Let's Play, you will watch me play some Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a lot of what I do there, but I'm gonna start incorporating some exciting new things, including some breakouts of these podcasts that I'm gonna be recording, and I hope that Eric joins me in some future episodes. We look to be making this a regular thing. Expect the episodes to go up on Wednesday. Okay. Every Wednesday the episode is gonna go up. We record on Sundays typically, so it gives us enough time to edit this thing and kind of get up there. We also have, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I have a tournament, a Street Fighter 5 tournament. Is happening July 30th. Is happening at my boy's barbershop, The Lost Art. That's going to be on Bird Road for the people in the Miami area, Bird Road and 83rd Avenue, around there. Make sure you guys, I'm going to put a link down in the description. I got the brackets. We're setting them up in challenge.com. Again, I'll have that down in the description. You don't have anything else to say, Eric?
Oh man,
That's gonna do it.
Maybe I hope to join you in those little Yu-Gi-Oh episodes you've been having. Maybe go a little one-on-one action.
For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that, and I got some other stuff in the works. We'll talk about it off the mic, but I got some cool stuff planned out, and as I get closer to what we're gonna do, I'll announce those things. So pretty exciting things. Cool. Till next time, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to us. Thank you, Eric, for joining me in this episode.
No problem.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. For those who watch on YouTube, make sure you guys comment. Let us know how we did. And until next time, guys, game on.